Hey everybody, Mrs. Bianchi. Which expression is equivalent to 16a plus 24b? Now, the first thing I want to point out to you is that this is in simplest form because sometimes they give you ones where you could actually combine like terms and come up with a simplified version, but this is in simplest form. So that means that what's our option? We have a couple options for how we can approach this, but probably for sixth grade, it makes the most sense to attempt to distribute these and see which one would give us the same thing. So let's look at choice A. This means we have four groups of 4 apples and we have 4 groups of the 20 bananas. So if we distribute this part, 4 groups of 4A, which by the way, what would that look like if we wrote as repeated addition? It would look like this. 4A plus 4A plus 4A plus 4A, 4 groups of 4A. The easier way to think of that is not to think of it as repeated addition, but rather to just multiply. So if I had 4 apples and I added 4 apples and 4 apples and 4 apples, I would have 16 apples. So I'm going to write that down. Now we have to distribute this as well. 4 groups of 20 bananas. So 4 groups of 20 bananas, what's 4 times 20? Ask yourself that, and that's how many bananas you have. What's 4 times 20? And that's what you would put on that yellow line, and you're going to compare that and match it to this. So if that doesn't match, and by the way, if you can't simplify that to get it to match, then you move on to choice B. So if we look at choice B, we have 8 groups of 2 apples. So that's going to give us the 16, right? 8 times 2 is 16 apples. Plus, and is this times, if I have 8 groups of 3 bananas, does that give me the 24 bananas that I'm looking for? So I'm not going to tell you. I want you to think about it. Does 8 groups of 3 bananas equal 24 bananas? All right, now what I don't like about choices C and D is that they give you variables on the outside of the parentheses, which makes that almost like too hard to even, if you had to draw a model of that, that would be really tough to even draw a model of that. So these are kind of almost what I would call nonsense answers for sixth graders. But the one thing I can say about this, if you were to simplify 2 plus 3, you would get 5. So is 5 groups of 8 apples and bananas, is that going to, and in any way, give you the same thing as this? Now, when all other strategies fail and you still are mixed up, then what I would like you to try as a backup plan is try to just come up with some hypothetical values. Like let's say you want to try A is equal to 2 and B is equal to 3. And you just substitute in your hypothetical values into each one, including this one, to see which ones give you the same numeric result when you simplify it. That's not the easiest way to do it, but it will work. 99% of the time that will work. But it's obviously much better to just demonstrate your understanding of distributed property and simplifying things to make your life a lot easier.